What's up everybody, it's Amaya. So today's video is going to be the second video in my Better Your Basics series, and this is going to be all about bronzer, blush, and highlighting. So basically that is going to be mostly about how to apply it, because picking out blush and bronzer and highlighter, those are basically all personal choices, whereas like foundation and concealer, they're like choices that are kind of, you have to do them a certain way. Where blush and bronzer is kind of like, yes, it goes with your skin tone, but it's pretty much what you want. But anyways, let's get started. So the first thing is, when you apply blush, bronzer, and highlighter, it's more of a personal choice kind of thing. Everybody has their own way that they like to apply it. You could get technical and say, oh, there's different ways to apply it for different face shapes, but for the most part, it's all applied in the same area, and if you do it kind of this one universal way, you will look good no matter what. Let's start with bronzer. What is bronzer? Bronzer is a powder, and it is usually, if you're light skin, if you're fair skin like me, then it's like a brown, like lightish brownish color, and you apply it to your skin to make you look tan. Now, you can also use bronzer to contour, but the bronzer that you use for bronzing and the bronzer that you use for contouring are going to be two different powders. Bronzing is when you want to look like you were out in the sun and you had a tan, or just, you know, add a little color to your face, which is what I'm going to be going over today. Contouring, however, uses a different shade of bronzer that's not as orange. It's more brown to taupey grayish, and that's used for defining your cheekbones. We're going to go over that a different time. Today, we are just focusing on bronzing. Where can you get bronzer and what kind of bronzers are good? I really recommend going to e.l.f. and getting the contouring blush and bronzer duo. It looks like this, and it is in the shade Fiji, and it's the only matte option that they have. So you can go to e.l.f. and they have like these duos like this, and they are in all sorts of different shades. There's like one's called St. Lucia, I can't remember what the other one is, but there's all different shades. However, the one issue I have with e.l.f. bronzers is they are kind of sparkly and shimmery, and I find that that looks cheap. I personally prefer matte bronzer. It's like very matte. I prefer my bronzer to be matte most of the time, so I really like this Fiji matte, because as you can see, it is very matte. This is a great shade for my skin tone because it has a little bit of orange in it, but it is just a little bit darker. It's a few shades darker than my skin tone. You don't want to go with like a dark, like chocolate brown if you're my shade. If you are very dark skin, or you have a darker skin tone, there is a brand, and I believe it's from Maybelline, and it's called Queen. And they make all things for darker skin tones, and that's like an amazing like line that Maybelline has. I believe it is Maybelline. I think it's called the Queen. It's called Queen. So basically, if you want to know that, I think you can buy it online. I don't think it's in stores a whole lot, but I will put that link down below if you darker skin beauties out there who want some bronzer and stuff like that for you. Another option is getting a pressed powder. This is the e.l.f. pressed powder in the shade Almond, and as you can see, I've hit pan on it right there. So yeah, almost time to get a new one. But this is just a powder, like a regular face powder, that I got in a darker shade than my skin is. However, a lot of times these will run very orange. This is probably one of the least orange that I have seen, but you can get these, they just tend to run kind of orange. I know there's one, it's L'Oreal True Match Pressed Powder, and it's in the shade Cocoa, and that one is great for contouring and bronzing for girls like my shade and maybe a little bit darker, but around that. But basically, you just want any sort of brown powder that's not too orange, and it's kind of like a few shades darker than your skin tone. I recommend going with the duo, and I'm going to be using that today. You have your bronzer. How do you apply it? You're going to be applying it with a brush. So there's a few different brushes you can use. My favorite is this e.l.f. complexion brush. As you can see, it's just a wide brush, and it's pretty flat, as you can see. You know, it has kind of a flat edge, but it's still a powdery brush. another option that you could use is a slanted brush like this. This is one, I believe it's from Crown Brush. I don't know, like I said, I call it my unknown brush set because I got it for Christmas. It was a giant brush set and I have no idea where it's from. But yeah, any sort of slanted brush will also work really well, especially if you want to get into shaping your face a little bit more as opposed to just straight up bronzing. This is really great because it's a nice shape for doing that. Elf makes a really great one too. It's just their angled brush. I don't know, you can find it online. And then another option is a brush like this, which I use more for contouring, and it's the Elf Small Stipple Brush. It's actually a foundation brush, foundation stippling brush that you use for foundation, but I love it because it fits right in the area of my cheekbones that I want it to fit. So that's an option too if you want to get more into, you know, contouring as you get more experienced, but kind of gonna let that go by the wayside for right now. However, for your beginners, I wouldn't start with anything too crazy, and I would recommend these. And today I'm going to be using the complexion brush because I just really love how it works. So let's start. We are going to take our bronzing powder, dip this in like so, and then you always at least 4 taps on both sides. That is going to get your product off that is extra. That's going to make you look cakey and stuff like that. So for applying bronzer, you want to apply it from the top of your ear to the corner of your mouth, and that is where you would do contouring as well. However, we're getting to that in a different video. Anyways, you want it here. You don't want it up here, you don't want it down here. If you put it too high up, it's just going to look kind of strange. If you put it too low, it's going to make your face look muddy. So we're going to take this, I'm going to turn it on its side like so, and I'm just going to go back and forth motions. You can make a face like I'm making, it's not necessary. And like so, as you can see, that's pretty intense. So then after you apply it, just apply it, then we're going to take our brush and dust it off on our hand like this. Sorry, I was watching things. And take it, and we're going to go back and forth like this. And now, since we're not contouring, we're going to blend upwards. Now, if you do your bronzer like this, and you're like, hey, it looks heavy, what you're going to do is take the brush that you used your foundation for. If you did not put on foundation, then you can just take any other brush. I'm just using the one that I had foundation on because it does have a little bit of color in it. And you're just going to wipe some off. So yeah, that is that side, and I'm just going to do the other side real quick. Now we are going to bronze our forehead, because you never want to apply it in just one spot, because if you do that, you're going to look disproportioned and just kind of strange. Taking this powder again, we're going to dab in again. Go like so. And apply it to this area of your forehead on the side right here. So you want to apply it not on your temples, which are over here, but like in the area above it, like this, right by your hairline. Again, same thing, dab it on there and then blend it out afterwards. If you have a large forehead and you want to make it look smaller, you can blend it up here into your hairline a little bit. But if not, just go like so and blend around. Now we have our beautiful bronzer applied. So bronzer, done. Now let's move on to a blush. Blush is not something you have to do after bronzer. Blush is not something you have to do at all. Again, bronzer is not something you even have to do at all. But let's talk blush. As you already saw, the Contouring Duo already has a blush in it. It's a really pretty pinky, hot pink blush. That's a really nice blush. I like it a lot. I have this other one. It's the Pressed Mineral Blush in Cabo Cabana. It looks like this. It is a more reddish orangey blush. I love this as well. I also have this e.l.f. Mineral Blush in, oh god, all my blushes are from e.l.f. Blushing Rose, and this is more of a purpley one. My favorite blush, and I think all beginners should use this blush, is this one, which is from e.l.f. And I covered up the sticker name with a magnet, and I cannot for the life of me remember what it's called. I want to say it's like Sweet, and it's not Sweet Pea because that's a different blush. I don't know. something, and it is a gorgeous light pink shade. If you are a newbie, I would definitely recommend going with these if you are fair to my skin tone. If you are darker, again, you want to go something a little bit more dark, just like you would with bronzer. You just want to go a little bit darker, so maybe go into the dark pinks, dark purples, all sorts of stuff like that. They look gorgeous. I am going to be using this blush today, and again, e.l.f. is a great place to get blushes. For the most part, they're the best drugstore blushes. Unfortunately, there aren't a whole lot of options out there for drugstore blushes. Maybelline makes some, CoverGirl, I mean every brand makes some, but really e.l.f. is the place to go if you want blushes. So again, for blush, something you could use is just a fluffy brush. I don't know why it's bent in like that, but just a fluffy brush like this. This one's from H&M. Just super fluffy, super nice. You can use the complexion brush again, which is also a really nice thing. You could use a slanted brush again. Any sort of smallish brush you can use for bronzing and for blush. I mean, they make blush brushes and bronzing brushes and all sorts of stuff like that. It's just a brush. I'm going to be using the complexion brush again, only because that's what I really like, and I like the outcome, and because I'm going somewhere and I'm not washing this off, I want to do what I like. Yeah. So, for blush, you're going to pat it on like so. Dab it off again. And a lot of people are mistaken and they want to put blush right on the apples of your cheeks. Now, that is fine if you are a lot younger and literally the only thing you're wearing is blush, or if you are in a dance recital and that's dance makeup. But this ain't dance makeup. This is going to look really nice, and the way that we're going to do that is apply it basically where we applied our bronzer, but higher up. So I am going to smile and apply this pretty much right over top of my bronzer, like a line up. I imagine my face as lines, like this is like here, and then the bronzer's there, and the blush goes up there. So you can apply it slightly to your apples if you want, but you want to imagine your face as like a heart, like so. My face is square, so it's not super heart shaped, but everything inside the heart should be light. So like as you can see, this is a heart like so. Everything in here should be light and everything outside should be dark or a darker color. So yes, that is blush, and again, I'm just going to go over with my foundation brush to blend everything in together. And we have blush done. That's the only place you need to apply blush. If you want to, you could use blush as eyeshadow. You could use blush, really anything. Blush is really nice when you use it as eyeshadow because it really looks nice with when your cheeks and your eyes kind of match. And if you use a coordinated lipstick, you can always do that. But now we are done with our blush. Moving on, we're going to go into highlighting. Now highlighting is something that if you're a beginner, you don't really need to worry about or even do. If you're not even wearing foundation yet, then highlighting isn't something you need to do. But if you are like me and you wear foundation and concealer and you've done makeup for a little while and you want to have a nice shimmery, dewy glow on your face, then highlighter is what you're going to use. So I have my two highlighters here that I use, and they're the Ulta Illuminating Powder in Yellow Diamond. This is a really nice golden champagne shimmery highlight. The other one is the e.l.f. Baked Highlighter in Moonlight Pearls, and it's also a shimmery highlighter, kind of whitish goldish. Another great drugstore highlighter is actually not a highlighter, it is a bronzer, but it's not really a bronzer. It's from Hard Candy and is the Tiki bronzer, and it is amazing for highlighting. It looks just like one of these, except a little bit more yellowy and bronzy. But yeah, they're amazing. So if you want to pick out a highlighter, basically you have to decide if you want a golden glow, a pinky glow, or you just want something really natural like these champagne ones. For beginners, I would really stick with these champagne ones like so, only because this will give you the most natural look. If you are darker in tone, you want to go for something more brown and bronzy, because that's just what's going to work with your skin tone, obviously. Also, ColourPop, which is a online brand, makes really nice highlighters. You can check them out. I'll put the link down below. They're super cheap. So today I am going to be using a combination. I'm going to just combine these because why not? As for applying highlighter, there's two different tools you can use. Something like this. This is a tapered brush from e.l.f. You can really use any sort of small brush. I just really like the tapered brush because it goes on really nicely on your cheekbones. Or you can use fan brush. Fan brushes, this is actually a really thick fan brush. You just apply your stuff, your highlighter here, and then go like that. and dust it off like that. Normally these are flatter and smaller, but you can use fan brushes for that. They come in a lot of kits just as like kind of throwaway items. I would recommend getting something, just a small little brush. So I'm going to take this highlighter and load it up on here and tap it off like always. With highlighter you want to be especially careful, and you definitely want to tap it off because it can be very strong and look very overpowering very quickly. So where we are going to apply this is going to be right on our cheekbone right here. If you feel it, it's really hard. I can hear mine knocking, actually. That's how hard it is. But we're just going to take our loaded up brush. We're going to wipe in motions like this. So basically we're just going in a straight line like so, right above where our blush is, and kind of working down into our blush to blend it all together. So if you can see the difference, this side has a little bit more shine and dewiness to it, and it is absolutely gorgeous, whereas this side is matte and not as gorgeous. Again, we're going to do that on this side. We have applied our highlighter to our cheeks. Now as for the rest of our face, you want to apply highlighter in the center of your forehead, down the bridge of your nose, on your cupid's bow, and on your chin. So we're just going to take some more and do so. Like I said, you want to be very careful when applying highlighter because it can get overwhelming really quickly. So that is it. We are done. We did our blush, bronzer, and highlighter. How easy was that? So much quicker than my other video. I apologize for how long that was. But yeah, this is really straightforward. You want to play around with it a little bit. If you want, the best thing I can say to you is less is better. When you're starting out makeup, you really just want to go less. Just less is always better. And then as you work up, you can experiment with different colors, different pigments, all sorts of stuff like that. So I hope you guys like this video. Please give it a big thumbs up and tweet me with hashtag #BetterYourBasics if you liked it. If you want to, I don't know. I think it would be cool. Anyways, yeah, I love you guys so much, and I hope to see you in my next video. Bye.
So that's gonna be today's video, and why was there thumping? I do not know why there's something. Alrighty. And I'm actually going to swing right after this, so I am like all dressed in my dress and my swing outfit, which I'm actually like really done up because today's Tuesday swing, and that's teen swing, and normally on Tuesdays it's just like really casual. I just wear like maybe like a shirt and skirt, whereas on Fridays I get all like fancy, but today I felt like being fancy because I want to play. So yeah.
So you do not, no. So yes, let's start, shall we? Look gorgeous, darling. We already applied our bronzer, no. I